What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Is my beanie too high up on my
Yes. Your beanie is so high up, it's folding in on itself.
It's so
it looks
high
like
up.
it's a Muppet's mouth about to talk. You know
Do
what
you
I
guys
mean?
remember, like, I don't know, let's say 4 years ago when I started wearing a beanie, and all day you're all giving me shit about how dumb the beanie was. Look at this stupid thing.
Okay,
Not one person's made fun of this old, frail man with his ridiculous
First thing he did
beanie.
was make fun of it.
That's true.
We did
No,
make fun of
he
this
made
beanie
fun
on
of
this
it,
for a
and
while.
this isn't the first show that he's worn it on, Tim, who also wears a ridiculous beanie that I very much enjoy.
I do want to point out, and I appreciate all the fun that's being had at my expense because, you know,
You don't appreciate it. I'm well aware this is cutting you very deeply.
It's good to the core of me. But I want to point out for Kevin, we didn't tease you because the
piece
beanie
of shit.
didn't
Look
look
at you
cool.
lying. Look at
We
you lying.
teased you because you were sweating and wearing the beanie. So you were wearing like multiple layers, the beanie, and you were like, oh God, I'm so hot.
Nick,
and you had a jug of water next to you.
I'm quoting you verbatim. Look at Kevin and his dumb beanie, is what you said.
I cannot,
Nick, that does
because I
sound like
cannot
you.
confirm nor deny that. I have to just relent. I have to relent.
Joining us as well is, of course, Forbes 30 Under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the verified one at Tim Geddes.
I'm excited for this one, man. It feels like I haven't recorded a Kind of Funny podcast with you guys in a long time, and I definitely have not talked to the man you're about to introduce in a long time, so I'm stoked about that.
And that man, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than G4's Jirard the Completionist. Hello, Jirard.
Hey, that is the first time anyone's introduced me as G4's host. Like it's weird to me still because it's still sinking in, you know.
Yeah. Is it a dream come true? Like, before I guess that nutshell. If nobody knows who you are you, Jirard? If somebody just turned on the Kind of Funny podcast, like my mom, and they're like, I don't know any of the people my son hangs out with. Who are you?
Oh man, yeah, I'm Jirard the Completionist. I would say I'm one of the original gaming YouTubers out there before YouTube gaming kind of became a big thing. I started about 10 years ago, and I'm known as the Completionist, where every week it's man versus game. Gotta complete them all. I've been doing it for 10 years. I've completed over 500 games. I haven't slept. I'm tired. But more recently, I have joined G4 as one of their many hosts. Which is a true honor and a privilege, and I'm so stoked to just be a part of it, and hopefully we make some kick-ass things. I'm really pumped.
So yeah, talk to me a bit about that. You know, you talk about, that you've been doing, you're gaming on YouTube before YouTube gaming, right? You've been around that long doing all that. What is it like then to sell the fuck out? You know what I mean? Turn your back on this independent lifestyle.
Now, here's the thing. Before you answer that question, Greg phrased that with the wrong tone. What he really means is, hey, what's it like? Because we're all looking forward to it one of these days. We just don't have the opportunity.
I'll
to
call
sell
Blair
it.
right now. How much does G4 want to spend on Kind of Funny?
Yeah. Give him a good deal. Good
$17.
What's that like though? I mean, in terms of like, going from doing your own thing to being a part of a team, being a part of, a brand that is G4.
Yeah, it's definitely super weird because kind of like Kind of Funny like you guys, I have a company. I am a CEO with 20 employees. So for me, and content creation was already a full-time job. I didn't need to join G4. I already was working 60 hours a week and getting stuff taken care of. And
so why do it, you crazy person? 60 hours a week?
Yeah. Well, I did it because, well, one, I kind of owe my life to G4 in a way. I kind of started, when I was working at Best Buy throughout my young adult years. Turn on the fun. And I just, a lot of my miserable time working there, I'd watch, Sessler and Pereira and Mon and Webb just do their thing, and it inspired me to start a YouTube channel and to when there wasn't anyone making YouTube videos back then. So that was kind of like my guiding light. And so full circle now, when the opportunity came at my door, I wanted to give it my all. And it was nice too, because I immediately saw where I kind of fit as a jigsaw piece in this whole G4 puzzle. There was, kind of a perfect spot for me to kind of adapt to. And so I I don't know. I saw it and said, you know what? I'm already doing a crazy thing of completing a game a week, running a company, 20 employees, doing YouTube and Twitch and brand marketing and consulting. You know, I don't know. I got the vibe of, I really wanted to see what I can do with G4 and help elevate them as they elevate me, and hopefully kind of be taken more seriously, if I'm being honest. I'm seen as a juggernaut in the YouTube space, but it's so hard convincing, media companies, especially even gaming companies, to take you seriously as a creator. And so
we gave up on that a while back.
No, Nick, it's on, and I know you're being joke, you're making a joke, but for me, Jirard, it always goes to, we obviously have the cheat code of IGN, where, I worked there for so long that I know everybody and people understand that when we started our own thing, obviously, okay, cool, they're influencers, but they're also this organization, they're also media, they're not blah, 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 where it's that thing of, we get press codes, we get access, we do all the stuff that we would do at IGN. And I can't tell you how crazy it is when I remember Funhouse reaching out to me like, hey, can you introduce us to someone at Place? I was like, what, really? Like, you don't have a contact? Like, no. And the list goes on that way of content creators that I know because of our crossover and, working with other people or, hosting gigs or whatever. And then when I'm like talking to PR for whatever company, not just PlayStation, I mentioned someone like, oh, I've never heard of them. I mentioned Ray, like, oh, I've never heard of him. I'm like, you've never heard of Ray? Like, he was an achievement hunter. What's achievement hunter? Oh my God. Okay, well, there's this other side that isn't just a review score that people don't understand about. So yeah, it doesn't matter. I think it's for so many people how big you are, it's impossible to break through that.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I, like Funhouse, I didn't have connections at Sony, and you introduced me over there at Sony. And even at that, like, I have numbers, I have data, I have presentations and skill and spreadsheets. Like, when I have meetings, I come in ready to get down. I'm like, here's what we can do, here's what we can provide, here's what I am and my brand. We're safe, we're chill, everything's right. And I can't ever get responses from companies to even email me back or to have a follow-up meeting. And it's frustrating because you do this for so long, and it's like I have millions of views. I have a huge network of people I work with. What do I have to do to get you to like me?
Well, I think it's just for them to understand, right? Like, that's kind of the biggest thing, is learning the language of how this all works. And that's why, like Greg's saying, like the IGN thing, they understand that because there's like traditional PR pipelines that work with it. I actually have so many questions about G4 just as a concept in 2021. And I don't know what you can and can't say, but I'd love to kind of pick your brain on, what is G4 going to be? What is it right now? And what is it going to be? And how does it differ from what we grew up knowing it to be?
Tim, that's a great question. Before we get into what G4 is, I'll remind everybody that this is the Kind of Funny podcast. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each coming to bullshit with each other about whatever it is they want to bullshit about. If you want to be part of that bullshit, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunny, where, of course, you can submit your own questions. You can get your name read on the show. You could be watching live, just like Mark Freeman is, J6 is, like Lexi G is. Of course, there are so many things to do on patreon.com/kindoffunny, like get all the other shows ad-free, get all the shows ad-free, like that one I just said, get a post show for every show we do, most every show we do. It's a great time on patreon.com/kindoffunny, and it keeps the lights and mics on. However, if you have no bucks to toss our way, it's no big deal. You can get each and every episode of the Kind of Funny podcast twice a week on youtube.com/kindoffunny, roosterteeth.com, and on podcast services around the globe each and every week, twice a week, as I said. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Mark Johnson, Julian the Gluten-Free Gamer, Steve Powers. Today we're brought to you by MeUndies, Faraday, and Upstart, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's join Tim's question already in progress.
Go for it, Jirard.
So I can't tell you what G4 will be, because that's still that's like a higher level plan through the organization, right? Of figuring out exactly there is a plan. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like there
I
are,
assure you there is a plan for what G4 will be in 2020.
I would have liked it if you just talked in circles for a while. We're like, it's more of a concept than it is anything else.
G4
it's visceral. It's TV.
It's a number. It's a letter. They're together.
It's colors. It's also the absence of light.
It's Kingdom Hearts. It's Yakuza. It's everything.
God.
So what we currently are in our current form is, we're essentially firing on all cylinders on YouTube and Twitch. kind of bringing back the classic back to basics format of what X Play and Attack of the Show are, with an emphasis on, esports, obviously, because that's, what's kind of the evolution of gaming, right? In 2021 is gaming is not just retro reviews. It's everything from free to play to mobile to MOBAs and everything in between. So in our current form, we're doing about 2 or 3 streams a week, Tuesday through Thursday. Each one kind of built as a spiritual successor or spirit of Attack of the Show, X Play, and a focus on esports. So those 3 days, it's about 2 to 4 hours long, depending on the content and the hosts. And it's really us just, having a fun time. We're talking about video games, very similar to the same way that you guys are, and in other creators online, talking about breaking news. We film a lot of sketches and shorts, and incorporate that into our programming. And then a lot of that stuff gets chopped up and put onto the YouTube channel for the VOD situation. So if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel and you can't be there for Twitch, it kind of gets re-edited, repurposed, and put on the YouTube channel. So that's currently what our like current week schedule is. But the 1,000 yard plan, looking in, is much bigger and much more focused than that.
With that, I mean, the one question that I don't even know if you can officially answer one way or another, but is this gonna be on TV?
To my understanding, yes. There is a plan to come to linear. The specifics of it, again, I don't really know. I don't even know the date of when it's happening, but I know that there is a plan to do it, and I know that whatever the plan is for linear, I do know that there isn't going to be a situation where someone online can't watch this. There isn't going to be like a paywall or any kind of pay gate to prohibit people from watching G4 in 2021. If you've got a phone, you've got a computer, you can watch G4 anywhere going forward. So it's going to be super exciting, because I think that was the big thing about G4 right back in the day, is you had to have cable and some kind of dish network service, and that's no longer a thing. Guys like us aren't really watching TV anymore. It's really our parents and our grandparents that are still watching TV with
and
those
Nick.
plans.
And Nick.
Yeah.
He canceled his cable service. He made a big deal about it. Everyone,
No.
be
I
nice
canceled
to him.
the internet for my cable service. There's Comcast still alive and well in this household.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Gerard, sometimes
you
I
again.
just like to let the TV decide. It's like watching animals in the wild. What's it going to
Okay.
be? Is it going to be a cockatoo today, or
Is it going to be Die Hard 1 or Die Hard 3?
Exactly.
That is the most Scarpino response I think I have ever heard. I know Nick's brother Matt very well for many years. So like hearing him, like that's the Scarpino way right there.
I forget that you have an insight into my soul through my brother, and
a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a classic Nick Scarpino. Jumped out of the plane, only one arm in the parachute. It's like watching wildlife. You don't know if it's going to be a cockatoo or a whatever the hell else you said it was. That's what you went to, because you
sometimes I get decision paralysis. Like the other night, I'm flipping through Netflix, I'm flipping through Hulu, I'm flipping through all of these streaming services, and I'm like, there's stuff to watch, but none of it's like getting me that excited. I've seen it all before, odds are, because we all consume so much content these days that it's like impossible not to have seen most of it. If someone says, "Oh my God, you got to watch Ted Lasso," I go, "I'm gonna watch Ted Lasso. I need a good show to watch." And guess what? I'm out of Ted Lassos now. So every once in a while, it's nice to have cable, because you can just turn it on, and then whatever's on is on. Now, if someone say, "Hey, Nick, you still have to decide which channel to go to," guys, you're getting way too far down the rabbit hole on this one.
Again, I understood the reference. It was more the analogy of you're outside just looking at wildlife, not sure what's about to come out of the woods, I guess. And maybe it's a
sometimes you go out to see some wildlife and you don't see anything. You can't put wildlife in the corner.
It's so hard. It's like seeing someone drowning, and it's like in like water that's like 2 feet high. It's like you can just stand up.
Here's a better example.
Just stand up. It's okay, Nick.
Okay,
just stand up.
Take another swing.
sometimes you know you have those complete and total morons that go out into the middle of the ocean to go swim with sharks, whatever the hell they are. We're gonna go shark watching or whale watching. That's another perfect example. I'm gonna go whale watching. Those are not idiots. It's actually probably a pretty cool thing to do. But every once in a while, you don't see a whale. You don't know what to see. What do you gotta do? You gotta look up. You look at a fucking pigeon. I saw a pigeon today.
Seagull.
I paid $200 to go see some seagulls out in their natural habitat, which is in the middle of nowhere.
I want to take this moment to totally change topics, but keep with Nick's looking to the skies and seeing what you see. Recently, one of my favorite people in the world, Elise Willems, introduced me to a website called How Many People Are in Space Right Now.com, which is just hilarious. Now, it seems like Greg and Nick have already seen this and saw the results. Jirard, how many people would you guess are in space right now?
I'm going to say 11, maybe 12 people.
Kevin, please go to how many people are in space.
I'm going to say
right
11, final answer.
Okay.
11 and a half. One of them's pregnant.
Oh, wow. The answer is 10.
So much of this is not right. Hold on.
I just love what's not right?
Nothing. The backgrounds are all wrong. I got it. Don't worry. I remember. You're doing great though, Tim.
Scroll down, Kev.
Give me 1 second. There's too many things.
Did you guys while he's doing that? Did you guys see that they redefined what an astronaut is so that Jeff Bezos doesn't count?
I did not see that.
Yeah, that was a headline I saw pop up. They're like, now that all these people just go into space, we got to redefine what a real astronaut is. You can't just jump in a fucking space plane and get up to the stratosphere and be like, I'm an astronaut now. Turns out you need some level of engineering and or training to do that, which kind of makes sense in my brain.
I feel like that might have been always the case.
I'm sure it was, but I think they were like, let's just define it a little bit more, just so people formal. Know, just so they get that the difference between someone who was a formally trained aerospace astronaut, someone who has engineering and or piloting or whatever, and Jeff Bezos, the trillionaire extraordinaire. We need to define this a little bit.
Well, now he's just a space cowboy, so I hope you're happy.
That's cool as ice.
Yeah. I just love that this exists, and you were so close, Gerard. I can't believe it. Like, I don't even know what I would have thought.
What would you have guessed, Tim?
That's my thing is I don't know. Like, I have no concept of how many people would be up there. Where it's like 10 is a number that I am surprised by. I thought it would either be way less or a lot more.
Exactly.
But 10 just kind of seems like, okay. So I like we get the breakdown of their names and how long they've been there. It's pretty cool.
When you say you thought there'd be more, are you talking like in the 20s or 30s or like a colony? You thought it'd be like 100 people out there?
No, definitely not colony. But like, International Space Station, like when Ludacris and Tyrese are up there, like they got to be saved by somebody. You know what I mean? But like, how many people are there? I don't know. I just don't even know. Honestly, if you asked me like, Tim, how many people are in the National Space Station? I would be like, I don't know. I can't confirm there are people on it.
That they're all up in the International Space Station, right? Like they're not.
I think for the most part, I think there's another space station where they could be at, unless they're traveling to and from that thing.
Right.
Yeah, but that actually kind of freaks me out because I didn't think the ISS was that big that could house.
No, it's pretty big. It's pretty big.
That's cool. But I'm with Tim though. Like, you think that there's at any given time, I'd be like, there's got to be at least 100 people in space, right?
100?
No, that's too many.
No one in space. It's either 100 or
I
no one.
I love how extreme you always get.
Now, here's my question though: what is the most amount of people that have ever been in space? I just tried to type in the most amount of people in space.com and it didn't work. But
can we call Elise and ask her if she knows the answer to this question?
She's probably been watching for a while.
I love that this website, I just pulled it up. I love this website gives you Wikipedia pages of who these people are. Immediately,
it's cool.
I love it. Know everything about them. It's so cool.
Yeah, my thing is like, I think that these people should be celebrated. I don't think we spend nearly enough time talking about astronauts or people that are doing this kind of thing. And like, especially now, I mean, listen, Jirard, you've met my brother, the family. We're oblivious to everything. We don't really pay attention to anything. We just kind of make shit up as we go along. But like watching like things like the Olympics, right? And you see people at the Olympics go, oh, right. There are like real heroes out there, people who are doing cool stuff, putting their life and body on the line, and people who live in space. I don't even know their names. That's how bad. I'm like, is Neil Armstrong still up there? Is he still doing his thing?
Jesus Christ.
No, he came back down.
Most people in space at one time was 13. And it happened 3 separate times.
It's a lot of poop in space.
Apollo 13.
Is that the magical number? 13's like the soft cap of anyone who's allowed on the space station?
They're like 14.
Oxygen, CO2 limit.
Now, if you guys had the money, would you do it?
No.
Go to space or go to the space
Yeah.
station? Big difference.
Either.
Did the website, do you think it changed when he went up there?
Yes.
For
Yeah.
just a
Oh,
little bit?
yeah.
If it didn't,
for
this
sure.
website sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Dog
If
work.
this is like your shit. You know what I mean? This is like your shit. This is like, is the PSN down and then it's down for like an hour and the website is PSN down, doesn't change? That's garbage. Throw that shit away.
All right. So
Mhm.
just
So,
go, Greg, just go up to space, come right back down. No stopping, no
No, that's
docking.
stupid.
Just
The whole
That's
thing
dumb.
of like, oh, I got out into the upper atmosphere or whatever, right? Like, no, that's lame. I don't
so you want
that
to take
at
a
all.
poop in space, basically.
I mean, I want to be in the spacesuit. I want to go through the little
Greg.
thing. I want to be on the space station. I want to come back. And also like the orbit where you're doing like like the shuttle gets up there and it just chills and orbits and like you come out and you do stuff and then like Sandra Bullock and the rocks come in. Like that's cool. That's fine.
Mhm.
But the ones who are just like, oh, I took a plane ride that was a little bit higher. Fuck off. Like, you didn't go to
Fuck
space. You
off.
didn't go to
Hang
space.
out. You gotta hang out. You gotta hang out. Wait, you
think
At what
gotta
point does that change?
at least 15. You at least one orbit. Like the world underneath you. You gotta go around it once, which is I believe 19 minutes if you get to the right height.
Like,
I
what
just
did,
wanna
what did
get up there.
Bezos
Am I
do?
wrong?
What
Is
did
it
he
90
do? Did he
minutes?
actually do stuff, or did he just take a really long plane ride up and back?
I don't think they didn't dock anywhere. I think they just went up to make sure they could do it and then came right back
No, they
down.
can't dock
Did he
anywhere.
float at any moment? Because I feel
Oh,
like
Yes,
to me,
he definitely floated.
Yeah.
good. Okay, that's
So, like,
that's
what I
the
wanna
difference
do-
between being in space or not being in space.
Look at
With
this.
the
Look at how
flight.
hectic this ship looks.
It's chaos, dude.
Open,
I don't
hold
like
on,
it. See,
open
here's
yeah,
the thing. It's very
it's so
claustrophobic,
unorganized.
and I
feeling.
don't want. Can I be honest with you guys about something right now? So this is a
Look at
this is
that.
a
You can.
deep-seated fear of mine,
Uh-huh.
and this is why I know that I could actually, when we start
too
talking
many
about living in the
cables.
apocalypse and stuff, I could never do it. Right? I never go hiking, and the number one reason why I've never wanted to go hiking is because I don't like
Thanks.
the idea of having to poop not in a regular toilet. And
Here's the thing. Do you know how the toilets work up here?
yeah, you got to suction your butt up to them, like strap
Yeah,
yourself
you
in
get
and suck
strapped
it
in.
out.
You get
That's
strapped in. I
awesome.
feel like that's safer.
Well, how do you
right?
wipe though?
What do you mean? How do
Just
you
to
wipe?
You just wipe normal and throw it in the thing? Does your butt ever get clean? That's my question. These
Yeah,
things
your
keep me
butt
up at
gets
night.
clean.
You can't wash it off with water, or else butt juice gets all over the thing.
All right, so
Ah,
I'm
there's
looking
suction
at
thing.
the AP here, and they have a little graphic that dumbs it down for me. It's actually a video that I'm clicking through, right, of like what goes on here. It's like, yeah, okay, so he's going Mach 3, good for him. Capsule
Good for
separates from the
him.
booster.
You want to
that's
just send
pretty
this to
cool.
me?
Yeah, can you send
Nah,
it?
oh, sure, sure.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Kevin.
Kevin, I'm sorry, it's coming to you.
Yeah, Kevin, that
I am-
cable
Kevin, I'm
management, that
sending
thing
it
is
to
amazing,
you
though,
via
guys.
assets. All right. There it is.
Assets.
Weightlessness
Okay.
begins, and here's the thing: weightlessness begins. Passengers can unbuckle their seats. All right, can they actually do something? What the hell's going on? And then that's the video I'm looking at right there. Capsule reaches its
Oh, so
maximum
loud. Hold on.
altitude after
There it is.
passing the car man line. All right, but then you look, it crosses this car man line, Kevin, and then it like comes around. The 10-minute ride. Go back to that. The 10-minute ride.
Back to where?
10 minutes. You didn't go to space. All right, you shot up and you came down. Congratulations.
Here's the
Orbit
thing.
the fucking planet. Do something. Do a spacewalk.
Greg, a lot of people have been like, man, his dick-shaped spaceship's really dumb looking.
It is a dick shape.
And it's like not until you see it in this graphic where it's like, holy
It
shit.
really looks like it's
How did they not notice that?
spurting out of
Well, they
the-
don't give a shit.
They-
He crosses the line. It's an imaginary boundary between Earth's atmosphere and space that's 62 miles high.
Mhm.
An imaginary boundary. Shoots up a little bit, and then look, they get rid of the booster. They're like, we don't need this shit anymore. And then the capsule descends
They're
toward
fucking
a faster
circumcised
buckle up
in
into
space.
space. Yeah.
That's crazy. They cut
Who
just the
cares?
tips.
I love
And they
that when
kept
he
the like bad part.
Naomi Kyle went up in a plane once, and they did the thing where they went like that, and she was like, in
That's
zero
different.
G.
Though.
She's
That's,
been to
that's
space.
no,
space.
that's different.
We could do that
Greg,
right now.
that's
If we had
different.
$500 and some gum, we could do that.
That's just that's a trick because like that's not going crazy high. That's you just going up
just do
and then
this.
down,
go
up
to
and then
arc.
down,
Yeah.
No,
and then the
Kevin,
down.
I'm aware. What I'm doing is insulting the Jeff Bezos method of space travel. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I wasn't actually saying Naomi went to space. I'm saying that this is so laughable to say that this man went to space. That then by this laughable definition, Naomi should be an astronaut too. In fact,
See,
I'm
the
going to
thing,
tweet
the
right
thing
now.
about space, though, where I disagree with you, Greg, is that going to space is literally just getting out there. So it's like
Yeah.
he did the
He
thing.
did
out
go
of
to
the atmosphere.
space, yeah.
He went to
It's like
space.
he didn't go to the moon. He didn't do anything interesting.
Yeah,
or
he didn't
go
go to the
cool
moon.
places.
No.
But
I mean,
There's
it's a
not many
big
places
deal. It's
you
a
could
big
go.
deal. Like what?
Orbit the Earth.
80 years ago?
That takes a long time.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's cool.
They can have food and stuff up there. Someone's gonna have
My
to- there's
plane
no-
gets
there's no
into
place to
turbulence,
be
has
on
to go up a
these
little
spots.
bit higher. I've done what he did. You know what I mean?
So you
Or
think you just-
well, what's the point? Of, yeah, I'm with Greg on this. Why go to space if there's like no destination, right? Like he's not going to a space station. He's not going to the moon. He's just going up and coming back down.
90
like,
minutes.
Why would you go? You guys are in San Francisco. Why would you like get on a plane just to go back to San Francisco again?
Well, you don't know. We don't. Did he land in the same spot?
What's your favorite restaurant, Nick?
My favorite restaurant or like my favorite eating establishment?
Just give me a fucking building to go to.
Taco Bell.
So like it'd be like me walking into Taco Bell, walking through the front door, and then walking out again, not getting any food, and be like, "Well, I went to Taco Bell."
I've been there.
Yeah, but you're one of. I mean, actually, I don't know how many people have been to space now that I think about it.
At least
you're
10.
one of definitely less than a couple hundred to have ever done it. Like he went to space. Should he have done that? Does it matter? No, but he did, and we didn't. So I think that, and Naomi sure as fuck didn't either.
No,
don't bring Naomi into this. All right, that woman is a saint. I wouldn't have you besmirching her good name right now. Astronaut Naomi Kyle representing the great country of Canada.
Do we know where he landed? Because that would be really cool. If, like if it's like, hey man, I have to go to like I don't know Europe, and like how do I do it? I go to space on the way. We just pop up.
I'm okay with that.
Drop down.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm okay. At least you went to Europe. You know what I mean? But if you just came to the exact same place you left from, that sucks. It's a waste of time. It just sucks.
I just want to do it so that I can float and have Greg lob goldfish crackers into my mouth in weightlessness. I think that. But
again, we could do that like Naomi did it. You know what I mean?
No, but that only lasts that up and down. The weightlessness only lasts.
It's like 10 seconds.
10 seconds, and then you
how
have to
long
go
did
down
this last? I mean, he unbuckled his seatbelt. They crossed the Kármán line. And they're like, all right, we're coming back down. Everybody.
They were in space. They were long enough to be like this. All right, I'm over this weightlessness bullshit. That's how long they were there for.
I got some stats here.
Wait, 500. That's a bathroom in space.
Oh, why do they all look like dildos? Wait, why is everything in space look like a fucking dildo?
Why do they all look like dildo?
Okay, I think what you do is you put the dildo over your penis and balls.
No.
No, I think so.
That's what the cone's for. That's what the little cone thing's for. It sucks it
yeah,
out.
all right, maybe.
What are the dildos?
I think they're just handles with like protective sleeves.
Okay, they look like uncut.
Yeah.
So the stats for you here, 553 people have reached Earth orbit. 556 have reached the altitude of space, according to the FAI definition of the boundary of space. Now, that's a cool sentence. And 562 people have reached the altitude of space, according to the American definition. So Americans, we're trying to like
put the bar lower.
Just a little lower so we can bump our number up.
Trying to get those gold medals, you know?
Okay. And only 24 people have truly done the thing of going beyond low Earth orbit and either circled, orbited, or walked on the moon.
That's badass. That's what Greg wants to do. Greg wants to go to the moon. You can get there. We'll get you there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Again, I'm thinking small space station. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Then you get too far though when you start getting to the moon. I'm like, all right, that's a long 3 days. That's a longer trip. You know what I mean? And then I'm watching shows on Netflix like the one with Hilary Swank, $1 Million Baby, who's going out to Mars. You remember this? They canceled after one season.
It was terrible. It was a terrible show.
Jirard, real close. Do you know Hilary Swank?
Yes.
If you could ever just pass along a note to her to tell me what would have happened in season 2, I would be interested.
Sorry, I think
he knows.
That's what I thought. I thought you were like, have you heard of Hilary Swank? Like, yes, I have.
I was
like,
Hilary Swank with me, or if you really know Hilary Swank, but I'll go. I'll commit.
I mean, look, I know Jamie Lee Curtis, so if you have a question for her, I can ask her.
We actually do.
Oh shit!
Have
Is
a
this
question.
How this happened?
Yeah.
All right. A couple weeks ago on the podcast, I was talking about Jamie Lee Curtis seems like a really nice person. I'm going to DM her on Instagram about coming on the podcast. And then I think Tim was like, Jirard knows her, I think, right? And, and then Tim was like, Jirard's great. We should have Jirard on the podcast. I was like, all right, I'll have him on too.
And here he is.
Let's go. They couldn't get Jamie Lee, so they got me. What's up?
No. You were our first choice because Jamie Lee didn't respond to Greg.
Well, also,
both things were sent at the same time. So it wasn't it wasn't like in the you can let Jamie Lee Curtis know the invitation's still open, and I feel like she probably knows Hilary Swank in some manner.
Oh, I'm sure she does. She knows everyone.
I thought we just had the question for her of like, what do you like being called, Jamie Lee or Jamie Lee Curtis or JLC.
I think she prefers Jamie, to be honest.
She does. She does. Yeah. Janina Gavankar afterwards told us that was the case.
Yeah.
This is what we do on this show, Jirard. We just talk about people and like theorize what they might want to be named. How many people have been in space? I don't fucking know. 3,000? Who cares?
I love it. It's great.
Listen, man, you guys, the rest of y'all spend your days actually talking about real subjects. Sometimes it's nice to just take off your shoes and kick back a little
This
bit.
is the fun one. Let your mind wander. Let's get weird with it. Let's have some fun. You know what I mean? I do have a question before we get any more out into the weeds of space here about that. It's for you, Jirard. So you talked about working 60 hours, and then you talk about like, oh, this is an opportunity you can't pass up with G4.
Yeah.
How does that net out? Like, what is you're a host for G4. So does that mean that like, is there like a rotating thing where it's like, all right, let's get Avali on, let's get Golden Boy, and then Jirard, you're on next week, or how does that all shake out? What do they do there?
Imagine it's like SNL, where it's just like we're coming together to produce content in our own bubbles. Some people are better suited for other types of content versus others. Like I'm the huge gaming guy, so anytime gaming stuff is being discussed, it's usually me, Golden Boy, with Sessler, talking about whatever. And then, if it's esports, it's Avali, Frosk, Golden Boy, kind of. And then, like if it's more attack of the show, comedy, around the internet type stuff, it's Pereira, Gina Darling, Kasim G, Fiona. So yeah, we're all kind of like a big switchblade that just kind of, utility kit that just kind of gets tossed around, and it's great. Honestly, at first, when I joined the team, I didn't know if we were getting more people. Will Neff joined recently, and he is a riot. He's so fun and so funny, and his perspective on how Twitch works versus YouTube versus linear is so fascinating. And so he'd be a great guy to interview if you guys are looking for someone fun. Will Neff is just incredible.
Is he connected in any way to Hillary Swank, and can he tell me what happens on that show?
I don't know, but I guarantee you he's probably watched that show and has the exact same questions that you do.
Great.
So you'll have that commonality for sure. But yeah, it's it's in a way, I'm not, if someone's like, hey, you're not in this segment, I'm not bummed, because there's so many segments and so many things planned per week and for the whole month that there's always something for someone to do. And so we're definitely not just like, oh man, I wish I was being used. We're always working on something.
Fair enough.
Do you think it's going to become more of a full-time thing? Like, do you foresee yourself kind of having to make concessions on your completionist side of content?
Yeah, so I'm actually there 4 days a week. So I'm there Monday through Thursday, producing, writing, acting, performing, hosting, and then when I get home from work, I'm completing. I'm having meetings with my writers and my team, filming for my Let's Play channel with my friends Alex and Brett, and going over any contracts or negotiations that I'm working with outside of the organization. And then Friday is like my day off, but that day off is then designated to anything that I didn't get to do for all my completionist content for the day. And then my weekends are like, again, spillover, whatever didn't get done on Friday, and then the evenings gets slated for Saturday and Sunday. So really Sundays is my Sunday is my one day a week off, really.
Dude, I mean, is it weird? Like, you have been a independent YouTuber that then had to run a team for a decade. Like, ever since I've known you, you've been kind of doing your own thing. Is it weird to now be an employee, like working for somebody, have a boss and all of that?
At first I thought it was going to be, but this group and this community working on this iteration of G4, everyone, it's such a team effort. Everyone gives a shit. Everyone cares. I feel like in you guys have been in that corporate zone. There's always a few people at the higher up level who are kind of pushing down, or there's a pipeline that just gets things stuck. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone gives a shit all the time, and that kind of symbioticness of wanting it to succeed so badly. It's just this thing that we all kind of care about, and so it kind of eliminates that weird feeling of working for someone else, when really I feel like I'm working for my friends here. I feel like my job isn't just to host things for G4, but it's to support my fellow hosts. It's to make, if Kasim G wants to do a huge segment on aliens and whether or not they're coming to Earth, like, I don't want to punch down on him. I don't want him to make him feel stupid. I want to like go down the rabbit hole with him, and I want to showcase his weird approach to it, because that's helping him on his journey and making everyone else feel supported that way. I'm all about elevating my co-hosts, and so because of that, it doesn't feel like I'm working for the man, or that I have a boss that's like you have to do this A, B, C, X, Y, Z. It's very symbiotic and very fluid.
What's Austin Creed like in real life?
You know that answer. He's the best. I'm sad because he right when I joined G4 is when the world opened back up, and so he's on the
Can't go back
road.
on the road.
Yeah, and so every day I'm like, I always ask like, so when's Creed coming back? Is he coming over anytime soon? I feel like he's because he's so busy and he's doing his own thing. That when we do get to hang out with him, it feels like it's just such a short amount of time. You know, it's like we've got our few hours, and then he's in another state or another city doing doing the wrestling. So yeah, it's I love that guy so much. I'm actually going to SummerSlam in Vegas, and I hope he's performing. I hope he's there showing up. But yeah, I'm super stoked.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great time to remind you about patreon.com/kindafunny. Of course, you can be there to writing with your questions, just like Grant Burton did. And Grant, we're going to tackle your question right after we pay some bills. Remember, over on patreon.com/kindafunny, you can get each and every episode of the Kinda Funny podcast live as we record it with a post show. But most importantly for you listening right now, ad free. But you didn't go to patreon.com/kindafunny, Jack. So here are today's sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by MeUndies. MeUndies believes that your comfort is about more than what's touching your skin. It's about being comfortable in your skin. And when you're truly comfortable, you get a slam dunk kind of feeling, you know? That's right, MeUndies and Space Jam are bringing you new undies. Ladies and gentlemen, you know I only wear MeUndies. A long time ago, I found out how comfortable they were, threw away the rest of my underwear, and only buy MeUndies. I still do to this day. And the Space Jam one is interesting for people like Blessing. MeUndies' new Space Jam print features Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and other iconic characters who are all tuned up and ready for a rematch. MeUndies are made from micromodal fabric, which is not only soft, but breathable, light, and impossibly cozy. Check out their new Space Jam collection in the softest undies, socks, bralettes, dog hoodies, and loungewear, available in sizes XS to 4XL. Here's your chance, do your dance, to score their new collection before the clock runs out. To get 15% off your first order, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/morning. That's MeUndies.com/morning. Up next is Canva. We've talked about Canva a lot, ladies and gentlemen. If you are making things on the internet and you need video, you need audio, you need Canva Pro. Tim's been using it. Roger's been using it. Nick has been using it. Anybody who's not just screaming into a microphone all day like me at Kinda Funny is using it to make our stuff better. Canva Pro is the easy-to-use design platform that has everything you need to design like a pro. Whether you're a professional designer or just getting started, Canva Pro can help boost you and your team's productivity and creativity. Canva Pro has everything you need in one place, including a collection of over 75 million premium photos, videos, audio, and graphics. Design like a pro with Canva Pro. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial when you use our promo code. Just go to canva.me/kindafunny to get your free 45-day extended trial. That's canva.me/kindafunny. Canva.me/kindafunny. And our final sponsor of the day is Upstart. If you're carrying a credit balance month after month, it can feel like you're in a never-ending cycle of debt. Upstart can help you make that final payment so you can get ahead. Upstart is the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan all online. Unlike other lenders, Upstart considers your income and current employment to find you a smarter rate for your loan. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate upfront for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. You can receive the funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/KFMB. That's upstart.com/KFMB. Don't forget to use our URL so that they know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your application. Go to upstart.com/KFMB. All right, everybody clear your mind. Mainly Jirard. Well, actually, hold on. Before you clear your mind, I'll give you your appetizer before we get to the meat and potatoes of the show, all right?
Okay,
Ryan
sure.
Koala Higgins in the live chat said, is Nick wearing the beanie or balancing it on his head? And I thought that was funny.
There's half and half, 50-50.
Look at him. Now he's getting made fun of his beanie.
I don't mind it. I welcome it because
Good.
because you know what? It's thought provoking. It's starting.
Yeah. The kids love it too.
People are gonna look at this, and some little kid's growing up right now, and he's looking at my beanie, and he's thinking to himself, because of that.
What
beanie,
little kid is watching the Kind of Funny podcast? This is
because of that
how
beanie.
did Jirard go from a YouTube to a
You
G4?
know,
This is interesting.
you know that there's lots of parents out there who are terrible, who let their kids watch our content and who should absolutely not let their kids, but they can't stop thinking like, I want all my kids to grow up and be just like Greg Miller. Why they would think that, I don't know. Beyond me. One of those little kids right now is looking at this beanie thinking, I can be president of the United States. And that's what
it's funny because when I was wearing my beanie, there was a 39-year-old man who was looking at me being like, that's dumb, but I think maybe in 2 years I'll do it.
Again, I don't remember ever saying your beanie was dumb.
Here's the thing to really
Verbatim,
take
Nick.
Not remember
Verbatim.
Everybody, I'm looking into the chat. Madeline Stanley, I see you in the live chat. You're gonna need to make a note on your Google Calendar right now. How many years did it take for this beanie to take off? You say, Kevin, go from your head to Nick's head.
What? I don't know. Let's be 4.
4 years. Madeline Stanley, set a Google alarm for 4 years from now and tell me if Nick is wearing a brimless hat.
Oh, I already got screenshots. I'm prepped for that moment.
Of the brimless hat.
Yeah.
I mean, anything's
How would you describe the
possible.
brimless hat, Nick?
Yeah, we'll show
right
you
now so that we
bring
can
it up on
save this
screen. Bring it
moment.
up on screen. Let Jirard
Why
see
are
it.
you trying
Jirard,
to
are you
get
familiar
me?
with a brimless hat?
Brimless hat?
Yeah. Imagine
No.
a baseball cap and then just rip the brim off it. That's the brimless
That's
hat.
the brimless hat.
Isn't that a beanie or a toque? Like I don't
No,
know.
because it still has.
It's like
the,
a structured. It's a
adjustability thing.
structured beanie. Really, is
Yeah.
what it is. It's very comfortable.
Kevin
Kevin's
was
been pushing it hard.
very much
And
trying to get this going, and he did.
We
not
got
get
them
the
sold out
response he
on
wanted
Amazon.
out of it.
We absolutely got the response we wanted. They're
They were
great.
sold out because they only made 3.
Well, you
And
know,
all of them got sold out.
One of them was
Someone has to fund Bezos' trip to space. So
That's
you know,
true.
You're,
And
you're
we are
doing
doing
your
it
part.
with all of our brimless hats.
Yeah, you're doing your part.
Yeah. I have no problem with the brimless hat. I'm not
You
into the
wear one in
brimless
4
hat.
years?
Will I wear one in 4 years? I never say never. Maybe
Yeah,
I will.
he has
Stanley
no
has
set
that.
the
problem.
alarm, she says.
He
The
has
alarm
no
is set.
problem with the brimless hat.
I got
He
no
just
problem
said-
with it. I did
it's
not make
absurd.
fun of you for the brimless hat.
Okay.
Tim made fun of you for the brimless hat.
I never made fun of him for the brimless hat.
All right, a
like
lot
the
of people,
concept.
everyone involved made fun of me for the brimless
There's the
hat.
brimless
I
hat.
did
Jirard.
not.
I see
Everyone
it
made
there.
fun of me for the beanies.
You wore the brimless
but Tim
hat,
wears beanies
and
now
you were
too.
very insecure about the brimless hat.
I'm
and we
not
just
saying I'm a
let you-
trendsetter. I'm just saying you guys don't understand trends.
I don't. First off, no one on this show is a trend center. I can tell you that right now. None
See,
of us
like
set
that's a
trends.
bad photo right there of it. You gotta wear it. You
That's
gotta wear
accurate.
it.
That's accurate.
You gotta wear it
Bad
this
photo,
way.
but it's an accurate
You gotta
photo.
no.
of the
You gotta
brimless
wear
hat.
it with the whole side out.
You also need
Otherwise,
to
it
not
looks
ever
it looks
wear
creepy.
You don't need
It
to
looks
wear
skin-colored
creepy.
clothes. Just
Yeah.
don't do that.
I gotta share this with you guys. I just found this website where you candidsignature.com where you can just purchase a brimless hat. The best part about it is you can click on the colors and see what they look like. The model who's wearing it, very funny. He's he's a little too high, a little not knowing what's going on.
Drop that into the general on Discord.
Yeah,
Kevin.
it is.
Oh, I did. Yeah,
perfect.
even the thumbnail's perfect. It's
Oh, that
almost
guy's
like
high
Oh
as
yeah, he
shit.
is high out of his mind.
Kev, you got to go crazy though. Get them all.
I have several, as you may or may not remember. I am not allowed to wear them because my wife does not like them.
so the
I think we-
the wife doesn't like it.
We
Yeah.
found the root of the issue here.
Sure.
Yeah. Why doesn't Paula like them? What's her main critique?
I don't know
of
if you know
them?
this. Paula has style.
She does have very good style.
That
she
one's
has
a real. This is
When
a
you show up
really
like
good one.
a video game character that
This
hasn't
is-
completely loaded into the level, she's not stoked about that outfit. She's like, you know what? Go back in there and change.
I'm not gonna
Look
lie.
like I just walked out of Vogue magazine.
This one right here is
Like
doing a
this
lot for me.
GTA 3 mod character walking around.
Kev, go to the dick looking one again.
I don't know what that means.
That one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
the
not
one.
like the dick licking
Yeah.
one.
I hate that it's called cream. Like I hate
Yeah.
that this color is
That's
cream.
so
I hate everything
gross.
about this. If I'm being real, I'm fully team brimless hat. I am not team that hat though, Kevin.
That one's
Kevin,
worse.
pass the microphone over to Paula and let her tell me why she doesn't like the brimless hat.
Oh, she's busy working. She
I don't
doesn't
believe
wanna
that
be
for a second.
involved.
Don't make me call her. You know I'll do it.
No, don't call her. She's working. Otherwise, she would have looked over.
Okay, fair enough. Everybody
I'm
clear
putting
your
out the
mind.
bait, trying to get her attention. Like
You like that?
she's working, but she would.
All right, everybody clear your mind here. All right.
Mind clear.
Jirard, we're going to come to you first with Grant Burton's question. I want you to know
Okay.
it's going to sound too simple. And,
Okay.
and it's because it is. There are no wrong answers. Okay.
Okay.
Grant Burton writes into patreon.com/kindoffunny and says, if someone asks you, do you want some cake? What do you expect to get? right? When you do you want some cake? What are you picturing coming back to you as the cake?
The
No wrong
most I imagine in my mind the most simple, boring, like I went to Baskin Robbins or Ralph's and bought like a $20 cake.
Sure, fair enough. Nick,
What flavor is it though?
It's
Okay,
it's like vanilla frosting on top and
Perfect.
like
That's okay.
basic ass
Just white cake.
White
yeah, white
frosting.
cake.
Yeah,
A
that's the-
buttercream
so
frosting.
that would be my assessment as well. Would be like
Interesting.
like a confetti cake, like a
Mm.
white frosting, a little
love
confetti
that.
on top,
Yeah.
with like a vanilla cake itself, a white cake itself. Now, having said that, if you're gonna hit me with a bundt cake, that is a great surprise for a
You're
Wednesday.
crazy. All right, let's move on. Tim, what kind of cake are you expecting?
You don't like bundt cake?
They nailed it. I mean,
No,
I
I
feel
do.
like this
I
is
do.
it's the exact. There is only one answer to this question, right? It is
Okay.
that
Supermarket.
shitty
But-
white cake.
Okay, shitty white cake.
See
And
what
then Greg, what are you
for
thinking?
me personally, I
Just
cleared
tastes
my
like
mind
butter.
when I read the question. I cleared the mind, right? And what I immediately went back to is the cake my mom used to make all the time, like just for like house cake, no special occasion cake, which was just the
What?
Betty Crocker cake mix, right? Just yellow cake, a chocolate frosting.
House
We'd
cake.
watch, it would be like something she made on a random ass Sunday, and I would eat while I watched Lois and Clark or The Simpsons or whatever.
See, this is where I challenge you, though, Greg. Like, I get that, and I'm with you. I would have never called it a house cake, but I too partook
Nobody
in
would.
the house cake. It
What are you
turns
guys
out
getting
where
house cakes about?
that was just what would be on the kitchen sink that my mom would make at
Yeah,
some
yeah.
point, and just that, and oh god, I can taste it. I love it. But like, if someone offered me cake, I wouldn't expect that cake unless it was
See,
my
but
mom.
but this is the thing again. Remember, this was a clear your mind, no wrong answers exercise.
Mhm.
So I imagine I'm just at someone's house, and I'm not imagining it's a birthday party. I'm not imagining it's an anniversary or a funeral. It's just no special
Well,
occasion.
see,
It's
okay.
just, hey, do you want a piece of cake?
Wait,
and I was like, yeah. That's
then
why
I
on a
would
paper
probably
plate coming to
think-
me.
we
then I
can't
would
let
think-
it slide that he just said a cake at funerals.
Yeah,
Which
is
what
that a
I-
thing?
You
Is
can
that
do
a
it.
thing?
Oh, man.
I mean,
feel
does
like
it always have to be sad that somebody's gone? Can't you have a little bit of joy in there?
Well, I
Everyone.
feel like if you're having a gathering, right, there's going to be food no matter what. So soon there's going to be some type of pastry or cake, pie, cookie, something.
That's the thing is I'm sick of going to funerals and having to be sad and then eat sad food. Because like Nick, you look like a guy who went to a lot of funerals. You go there and they usually got the cold cuts, right? And they're all rolled up nice. and they got
It's
the
Nick's
little
favorite
cheese
part of
things.
the funeral.
That's
bring
delicious
stuff,
and
yeah.
great. You know what I mean? But then they got the crappy ass Kaiser roll that's way too hard. You don't want that. It's too bready.
Someone
saying
brought
just
the ones
somebody
with
make a
onion on
cake and
top, you're like,
have-
"Why is there onion on
Get
top?"
somebody's face put onto an angel body and put that on the cake.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? Just
There
have
you
it be
go.
like, oh, they're in a better place now, and we get cake too. Because the sugar will make us all feel a little bit better.
When I watched that movie that I keep telling you to watch, Greg, about the National Lampoons,
Yeah,
Will Forte.
Sir, seriously twisted and unrelentingly funny.
Sure, something like that. There's a funeral scene in that, and because they were all big fans of food fights, someone starts a food fight during that funeral scene, and that's how I'd like to go. But save me one little slice of red velvet cake.
That's how
bury
you'd
me-
like to
bury me with it. Yeah, I want people to have fun at my
You
funeral.
want your funeral, your wife who already just tolerates us, to have to sit through a kind of funny food fight on top of it.
Oh, Greg, my wife is gonna probably
not.
have left me long before I
Fair
die.
enough.
I mean, if I make it past 60, D is just gonna pack a bag and be like, "Well, I put my tenure in. We're done."
Sure, that's fair
Yeah.
enough.
I-
And that's honestly one of the sad parts about how happy Kevin is for me. Where when we started talking about these brimless caps, right? And talking about, I'm
Where
going
does
somewhere.
this go? Okay.
The boat's gonna land. Don't worry, we're gonna get to land here. We're gonna
Please
get
land
there.
the boat, Greg.
When we started talking about the brimless hats, one of the things I was thinking of is how great it would be if Kevin wasn't already married and going to be with Paul the rest of his life. That if in a different reality where he's not married already, when he inevitably falls in love and gets married, we'd all have to wear the brimless caps at his wedding. You know what I mean? But again, that's not going to happen. Now, do we all wear them at his funeral? Maybe. I'm putting that out there into the future.
You know what I was thinking about the other day? I was bummed out that I didn't let Cool Greg wear his hat at my wedding. I should have fought harder for that, but other people got involved and they were like,
Your wife-
"Oh no!"
Was that with other people? Your wife? Your
No, it was because she was
Was that
fine
the
with
other
it. It was my mother-in-law who was like, "No," and it's like I should have sat down with her and been like, "Look, it's a big deal for him. This will
okay
really
that
make the wedding
one
more
time.
memorable. It would have been fine." Because I saw a picture. The thing is, like, he doesn't do his hair, in any sense because he wears a hat always.
shaved head most of the time.
No, he doesn't. Not for my wedding. So, like, his hair would have made way more sense if it was in a hat. And it's just like
Show me a photo of Cool Greg at your wedding. I don't remember.
All right, let me get on it. But I want to say the cake that I imagine, chocolate with chocolate frosting, and I'm shocked that
Double chocolate.
that was different than what everyone said.
Well, I feel like here's the thing, right? And again, you said imagine a cake. The first cake that came to mind was I want a big slice of red velvet cake from Susie Cakes. But that's not the cake that I would think that, Johnny's tasked to go get the cake for the office party. He doesn't give a shit. He gets whatever the first thing is there. It's that shitty, almost a little stale, if that's a word you can use for cake, dry, but also tastes like butter. It just tastes like butter. Everything's butter.
It sounds like you're about to talk shit about sheet cakes from your local Jewel Osco or grocery store, and I won't have that. All right, those are
Stop.
Those
saying
cakes
the word
have
Jewel
a taste
Osco. That is
and
not
a reason to exist, and it's just a house of cake and have.
No, I mean, listen, it's Safeway, but I mean, come on. You walk into a Safeway and you see those cakes. Do you want the cakes? Those are like sad. See his hair look fine there.
No, but see, here's the thing.
Gerard
Gerard is a man of taste, and I appreciate that he brings up the Baskin-Robbins factor, and that's the pro tip to everyone out there. If you ever are assigned to buy a cake, I know that can be stressful. You're not a normal cake guy. You're not out there bipping and bopping buying the cakes for people. Don't get it at Safeway. Don't get it at Jawasco's or whatever made-up place Greg's talking about. Go to a Baskin-Robbins, get an ice cream cake, because that way you at least know it's not going to taste like butter. It's going to taste like ice cream.
Yeah, the problem, I'm with you, Tim. But the problem with the ice cream cake is that it melts. And so if you don't get it there immediately,
That's the thing. Like if I go to someone's home and they're like, "Hey, do you want a slice of cake?" and they bring me out an ice cream cake, I am impressed. Like this is a top tier person right there. Also,
you know what? This brings up a good thing. Hold on, I'll be right back. You keep going. Let the show.
Great. Nick, if you will, let me bring out Exhibit B. It's cool Greg in his element with a hat on at my wedding.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he looks good
is this not a happier man? Is this not a happy? Like I'm saying, like this is
for one night not wearing a hat to honor your nuptials. I think he's
it was just for the actual wedding part.
Yeah, but then you got him for this. It's the best of both worlds there.
But I think I would have enjoyed the photos more if they had, in fact, had the hat.
What a conversation this is.
You guys look like such brothers here, by the way. Isn't this?
They are brothers.
Those are brothers. You guys absolutely are related in this photo.
Isn't that the same smile?
Yeah,
it's fun.
Shout out to that little bow tie on him. I guess on me too, but
yeah, it looks smaller on him. This guy. Well, actually, no, you have broader shoulders than he does.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna say about the ice cream cake, though. The ice cream cake always a fun idea at the beginning, but then somebody. You eat half the ice cream cake, it gets put away. It comes back out and it looks like a nightmare because it has already.
Oh my god! Fat boy
thing. Fat boy ice cream sandwich here. All right.
It sounds like he just found religion.
I'll tell you what.
Really good.
They've been they're delicious. No. They've been in the freezer for a while, longer than you'd think they would, right? In terms of like how fast the sweet would go in my house. But the reason is I've been toying around with the idea that I might be lactose intolerant, but I haven't had the time to check. So now that we're talking about it in the show organically, I can just do the test here.
First off, everyone's probably.
I don't think that's how that works.
Second off, I'm gonna. Here's a hot take for you guys right now.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go.
These ice cream sandwiches, I don't like them.
Yeah, well, you're an idiot.
You don't like ice cream sandwiches?
I'm gonna tell you why. I love them, but they always get on your fingers.
Yep.
And I don't like that part. I don't like that about it. So I stay away from them. I'd rather have a Snickers ice cream bar than an ice cream sandwich any day.
I mean, you're bringing up some points that are super valid. Like it getting stuck on your fingers does suck.
Horrible.
But then you get to do the teeth like.
Hate that part.
Just kind of like I'm with you because then you never feel good after that for sure. But this brings up another ice cream grievance, which is the waffle cones when they put the paper, but the paper's like glued on to the cone.
What the fuck? Why is there resin on my waffle? I'm eating paper
the resin
now?
off of my waffle cone.
Yeah, oh God, that's the worst, man. Don't do that. But the whole point of the waffle, if the waffle cone doesn't have its own integrity, it's not really a waffle cone. It's just a twisted waffle. That's all it is.
Ice cream is one of those things that I can't imagine somebody being like, I don't like ice cream. And that is a thing that I've heard many people say. And it always surprises me where I'm like, that just to me seems like such a neutral, just good. You know what I mean? Like, how do you not like this happiness in a cold, solid form?
And there's so many kinds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how can you not find an ice cream you like?
Yeah. How cold is your mouth right now, Greg?
Cold.
Yeah, it looks pretty cold. I can tell. I've been around Greg for 15 years. I know when his mouth is
those
cold.
Those teeth hurt. You know what I mean? I got those cold teeth now.
Oh man.
But like, sorry.
I was gonna say it's the same thing as people who are like, oh, I don't like sauce on my pizza. It's like, well, then
that's weird. Then you're just eating bread.
You're just eating bread.
Sorry, you're eating like a focaccia bread. That's it.
Here's what I'll ask you, Timothy Geddes.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, you have drawn cheap heat with the audience here and there by, of course, declaring that pepperoni is overrated. We've talked it to death. We understand your point. Is ice cream overrated?
I don't think people understand. No, I don't think so.
Wow.
I do not think so. I don't think so at all. I think that it's just like there's no cons to it. That's the one thing with pepperoni pizza. I need my platform extremely clear on this. I'm just saying for how oily it is, I don't understand why everybody loves it so much and says that it's like the number one thing. I feel like I've had a lot of problematic pepperoni pizzas. That's the only issue. I understand people like it. I fucking love it. It's great. But there's issues. There are some issues that we need to be able to criticize the things that we love, and that is a perfect example. Am I wrong about this oil situation that is more unique to pepperoni pizza than other pizzas?
I have a question for you, Tim.
Go for it.
Do you think?
I love that Jirard looks like he's consulting notes, like he's been writing down what Tim's. I have a question for you, Tim.
Typing everything up. Everyone's got to know. Do you think it's a matter of the amount of pepperonis that make it so oily, or is it a matter of just no matter what it's pepperoni, it's oily?
I mean, look, here are just the facts. In my experience, you got to imagine what a pepperoni pizza looks like, right?
Yeah.
And in your mind, that pepperoni pizza is on a white paper plate, right? Because that's how you often are handed pizza, right?
Sure.
I would say
It's always, by the way,
pizza that I've had in my life
in your
has
brain,
been on a white paper plate. Nick?
in your brain, is it a paper plate that no matter how many you stack underneath it, it does not have the integrity to hold the piece of pizza on it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. And who's this, Jirard? I
Oh my
love him
God,
so
what's
much
this
for so
fluffy?
much.
This is my son Boofy.
Boofy. Oh, the boof.
The Phoebe buffet.
Oh, I love him so much. But so that's the idea. You take this white paper plate, right? You put pepperoni pizza, and here's where, to Jirard, to answer your question, I don't care if it's one slice, and I don't care how many pepperonis themselves are on it. That paper plate is going to be soggy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And
Oh,
that's just simply not true for a lot of other types of pizza. And I just think that is a fatal flaw, because I think that pepperoni pizza is very consistently good for the most part. However, there's always that 20% chance that it is going to make you feel like shit as you're eating it because of the amount of oil.
Crazy. Now, see, I'm willing to take that 20% chance, because when
Fair.
it goes in the fridge, when it comes out cold, it is far and away the best slice of pizza that you have, like, you can eat cold. Far and away. Because you got all the salts come to the surface, and it's just a salty,
But
solid,
to Tim's
dense
point,
piece.
if there's so much grease on there, it congeals into one salt bomb, and you taste
what I
nothing.
love
You
it.
lose
Oh,
all the
I
flavor
love
of the
it.
crust, of the sauce, of the cheese, and it's
No.
just salt.
No, my favorite thing to do would be a Pizza Hut pizza, and you save half of it and put it in the fridge for like the next day, and you get it out, and it's the kind where you can slide the entire half of pizza out, and you can just hold it, and the whole half
Sure.
of it
Yeah,
just
it's
sits up,
congealed.
and I love that. It's so freaking. I want pizza tonight for dinner.
Am I about to reveal myself as a trash monster? Do you guys ever do like cold pizza or like next day pizza with like on your pan in the morning with like an egg? You ever tried
wow,
it?
that sounds
Ooh,
good.
no, I've never known what the
That
egg
sounds
is.
really good.
Devin, what's
It's
your
pretty
favorite thing in
good.
the world?
Breakfast pizza.
What's your second favorite thing?
Burritos?
I was looking for breakfast milkshake, but that was unrelated.
Oh, I can't have those though. I'm not allowed for obvious
Is
reasons.
Paula like eavesdropping on this podcast? She can't hear you. You
She's
can say
right
that
next
you're
to
gonna
me. What are
sneak
you
a
talking
breakfast
about?
milkshake.
Like, but I make good decisions. I don't even want breakfast.
Yeah, I like how he
milkshakes.
said I make good decisions to her. You could hear his voice.
Yeah,
over
exactly.
the
He's looking
side.
at
Definitely
coming back.
don't.
All right, so now, Jirard, walk me through this. So you take the pizza, you put it in the pan, and you crack an egg on top of it. What are you doing here?
Yeah, so it depends on what your vibe is. You can either like cut the pizza up into pieces and have like scrambled eggs,
Ah, that sounds
or what you can do is you can make like almost like a pizza sandwich and crack the egg over the top and flip it when it's cooking. So you put the egg, the sunny side up on top, have it cook over the pizza, and then you can knife and fork it. Or if you want to get crazy, you go slice of pizza, cracked egg, slice of pizza on top.
Jesus.
See, I like this.
Are there
I
pictures
feel
anywhere?
like this egg is going to add the right level of wetness
Moisture. Bring
to
back the
moisture, because like I think that's the biggest flaw of the pizza. And again, we're talking about flaws that are minuscule issues for me. Like I'll eat cold pizza. We all know fantastic stuff in any iteration, really. But I like this. I also love eggs in many iterations. So why would I not love these things together? I don't know.
Yeah, you put an egg on anything.
I'm in good company. I've been around too many people who are like, I don't like eggs on anything, and I'm like, eggs are.
Oh, we got a
eggs
couple
are
of
good.
those in this company.
Yeah,
do
so much
have-
Mike
we do
doesn't
have
eat eggs. He's a
couple
weirdo.
people who
But
are
he's
weird with
afraid
that.
of them. No, Andy doesn't eat eggs like out of choice.
I'm
Like
sure
he's had
afraid of
eggs
them.
before, and he's like, it hurts my stomach.
Interesting.
And so he stops eating them.
Yeah.
Unlike
Yeah.
some people, when it hurts their
Okay,
stomach
can you,
and they're
all
like,
right, hold on. I don't like. Why am I being put on?
I wasn't bringing up you. I'm bringing up Greg Miller, who
He's saying
to
some
test his
people.
lactoseness is like, I'm gonna eat some ice cream.
First off, I
that's
thought
the
for
only
sure
way
that
to
was an
know.
attack on Kevin, who
That
we know
was
is
100%
lactose
attack
intolerant,
on
but
Kevin.
still takes milkshakes.
Well,
Yeah.
And I
I'm
always will.
flirting with the idea of
Like-
maybe not being able to eat ice cream anymore, so I run a scientific test. Now I'm a monster.
Did you say Kevin still takes milkshakes? Like I'll take an iced tea on the veranda. Like I like to take my iced tea on the veranda. So.
Kevin takes some like medicine.
That's amazing.
We've all had a tummy ache and been like, you know what, a milkshake's probably gonna help.
Dude, the last weekend when I was visiting family, I ate so many different types of things, and it was one of the first times where someone offered me a Tums, and I'm like, you know what, give me a couple Tums because I know I'm gonna keep eating. I'm gonna eat my way through this, but I need something, and they work. But I was disappointed with myself.
now sticking with pizza for a second. A couple days ago, there was a article on SF Gate, which is just like a San Francisco like website that gives you news and shit, right? And they were talking a big talk about
newspaper.
Curry House Pizza, which is Indian pizza. And I've had Indian pizza many times. It's kind of a San Francisco special. There's this place, Zante's, that everyone always talks about in the Mission. And I've had it before, and I'm like, I get it, but it's just not my favorite thing. I just don't understand why anybody would ever want this over either normal pizza or normal Indian food. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't really enhance when it's all together. I tried this place, and it was the same experience where I ate it. I'm like, this is good. It is very good, but never am I going to order this over real pizza or real Indian food. Until the next day when I was like, I got to give it the shot of it cold. And it was fucking amazing where I'm like, okay, this pizza is now worth ordering just for the cold experience where all of a sudden it starts tasting like the pizza dough itself is naan and all the Indian toppings on the top.
that
I've
sounds
never really
really
had these Indian flavor profiles when they're not hot. So it was like a whole new sensation that I was like really, really I was feeling, man. And so I'm just saying, try some stuff out there. You never know. You never
makes
know.
me-
Even if your first blush, you're like, I don't know if this is for me. Just dive a little deeper.
For
Yes,
sure,
no,
this
like Mike.
conversation makes me miss the studio and makes me look forward to the days when we'll all be in the same space because maybe 20 minutes into this, we're 20 minutes into the pizza conversation. 1 minute in, Kev would be like, should I order Signoris? Should I order
Yeah.
pizza right now? And
We
we
got
have the
pizza.
pizza right freaking now.
Be great.
How good is that?
I would have.
If you
You're
guys are
right.
if you guys are ever in LA, towards the South Bay area where I'm at, there's a place called Love Pizza, and it is Korean fusion pizza. They do an incredible bulgogi potato pizza. It is insane. It's weird, but it's insane. Very, very flavorful.
I'm in.
Jirard, if you're ever in our area and by the financial district, there's a place called HRD, and they do Korean fusion burritos,
HRD is-
and they are amazing. You can't go wrong there.
That sounds
You can see him on
incredible.
Diners, Drive-In, and Dives. No big deal.
No big deal.
No big
Big
deal.
fancy.
Guy was there once. Gerard.
Yeah.
South Bay Adam writes into patreon.com/kindafunny and says, between Star Wars and Fast and Furious, which is a better franchise?
God, we already answered this.
It's good though. It's good.
Okay.
Oh, it's infuriating.
I feel like
We did it on
I'm.
the post show. So this
Can
will
I?
be good.
Can I just like? I'm gonna before I give my answer. I want to like do a vibe check. I think a lot of you guys might say that Fast and the Furious is the better franchise. Am I correct in saying that?
I don't think
I
you're
wasn't on the
correct in
post show they're
saying
talking
that.
about, and nobody made notes on the thing, so I didn't know this.
I
got
apologize,
answered, so I
Greg.
don't know.
That's my bad for not striking it out. But it's actually a question we could ask every guest. So I think this. is
Sure, it's
good.
a yeah, it's guess. And I
And
haven't
you weren't
answered yet.
there either, so I think this is still a good topic.
Okay. If I have to go a better franchise, I think I gotta go Star Wars. I gotta. There's too much Star Wars media outside of the films that are from a franchise perspective that are really, really, really good. And there's maybe 3 or 4 Fast films that I'm a big fan of. The rest I'm like kind of ho hum on.
I think you could break the question down into like what defines the better series? Obviously, Star Wars is the more culturally important series. But what it comes down to, so in that regard, yes, Star Wars is the better series for sure. But what is the more entertaining series? Have they ever jumped the Millennium Falcon from one building and then to another building and then let it drop onto a fountain?
Well, they kind of did in the beginning of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, they did.
Hypersonic jumps, which was dope
in and
as
out.
fuck. Really, really fucking
Was
dope.
it though? Was
Dude,
it?
it was.
They used it that
was.
one time and never again.
It was a cool time. It was a real cool time. I
And
think
then
the problem with
the
this,
rest of the movie was a race.
I don't think there's any question that, of course, it's Star Wars when you're talking about just the entire franchise. I think it becomes a little bit more interesting when you're talking about just the movies. And you
Chance Carter double downs in the live chat and says, "Would Jirard what would he rather watch right now? All 9 Star Wars or all 9 Fast and Furious?"
Ooh, shit, Fast and Furious. That's
Look at him
you know
doing
the
it.
answer. You can say Fast and Furious. You're not gonna. No one's gonna record this.
Wow. I think
Now, here's the thing. It's
Okay,
not 9.
okay. Okay.
It's 10 on both sides.
It's 10 on both
Right,
sides.
right.
Well, it's 11. 11 on the Star Wars side.
Yeah.
Would you like me to ban
You
Chance
gotta
Carter?
watch Solo.
No. It depends, because if we're talking like, do I want to spend the whole, like, when you watch a Star Wars film, it's so much larger in terms of runtime and length and scope than Fast and the Furious. So I feel like I can turn my brain off and have a lot more fun with Fast and the Furious. But with Star Wars, I feel like there would be moments where I would just get tired, where I just would go, this is, especially around episode 2 and episode 9, where I would just go, this needed to be over an hour and a half ago. And here we are. I think if I had to marathon them all back to back, I probably would pick Fast and the Furious.
That's the right answer.
Oh, man.
Because I mean, when I think about the prequels, when I think about having to watch the prequels back to back, I just feel like that's going to be such a slog. Whereas with Fast and Furious, I'm excited for number 1, and I'll be honest with you, Tim. Right now, I know we shit on number 2, or rather, you do. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see how many ashtrays can be stolen in that movie. And then, of course, all you got to do is get to Tokyo Drift, and then, baby, you're on the fucking roller coaster from that point on. You're done.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the bigger problem is like Star Wars, it has a lot of the high quality Star Wars films are above and beyond anything Fast and Furious has or ever will do. But the lower side of the Star Wars stuff, I think, is arguably lower than any of the Fast and Furious stuff. So I think that makes it difficult because there are definitely more bad Star Wars movies than good Star Wars movies. But we're getting to the point that there are more good Fast and Furious movies than bad ones.
Are you guys in the boat of like original Star Wars trilogy is the best trilogy?
Yeah, I am.
Best trilogy, you mean
100%.
of any trilogy or of Star Wars?
No, just the
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would actually say
what
it's
people
probably one of the
argue
best
is what's
trilogies,
people,
period.
what would anyone with the right mind argue is better than the original?
Oh, someone's gonna bring up Lord of the Rings, and it's like, oh
No. We're talking about Star Wars only.
I'm pretty sure he's
Yeah,
asking
Star Wars.
episodes 1 through 3, 4 through 6, and then
7 through 9.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where do
which
the
is
hobbits fit in?
I
Hobbits
fucking
are-
hate you, Nick.
I want to punch you in fucking your beautiful
I
mouth.
can't wait to be back in the same office and just wrestle you. Yeah, are people out there stumping for the last 3?
I don't think so. No one is.
I mean,
there's no way.
There are some people.
Some people love those prequels, and
Oh, yeah.
I attune it to a nostalgia of some folks just never watched 4, 5, and 6. They watched 1, 2, and 3 first,
Yeah.
and so that like gets that nostalgic bone for them. But yeah, I feel like the universal opinion is 4, 5, and 6 is the way to go, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Could
there's
also
something
be-
I guess too, the fact that the first or whatever, Jesus, 1, 2, 3 are like, geared around or more for kids. I don't even know if that's true exactly, but you know what I mean in terms of like I can see where I'm bored watching episode 1. I can see where a kid would be like, this is awesome. Like it's bright, it's crazy,
Yeah.
Jar Jar is
Got
funny.
pod racing.
There's this other kid who's pod racing and doing this crazy shit. That's cool.
Dude,
I
if
think
I
I'm
saw
gonna grow up and
pod
have sex
racing-
with that lady.
I mean, let's put it this way. Like Greg, you and I are roughly, I mean, you joke around it, but you're only about a year younger than me.
That's not true. I'm much younger than you. Much more
And
than
I
you.
remember like all we had in the 80s was the lightsaber. That was pretty much it. And we were like, we're going to hold on to this. This is the coolest thing ever. People were like, what do you have in your childhood? My parents were like, we had, famine. I don't know.
Tiddlywinks.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the hell they had. We had the lightsaber. If I had grown up in a time where pod racing was a thing, I mean, that's
Or Nick,
blows it out of the water.
dual-sided lightsabers. Are
Yeah,
you
that's
fucking
pretty
kidding
cool.
me?
That's
What's
pretty cool.
cooler than a lightsaber?
But I think I'm fortunate, or at least people who grew up in the '80s were fortunate because they didn't have the capability of doing anything more than the lightsaber. So I think a lot of the story and the characters are what we all grew up with, and that became Star Wars for us. So when they started doing stuff that, I mean, Greg, I think you're spot on. I think there's no one can argue that the prequels are more tailored toward kids, but I don't know. I mean, I just feel like the original trilogy is damn near almost as perfect as it gets. You can start talking. I mean, all kidding aside, you can start talking about other trilogies that are good, but I can't think of one that can dethrone it.
Back to the Future. It's the best.
Restore.
On the precipice of having a kid, I
Toy
do
Story's
wonder.
4 movies, Tim. 4 movies.
Star Wars is a million.
On the precipice of having a kid, I
Population.
do wonder how I'll show them Star Wars. You know what I mean?
You gotta
Of,
show them
like,
the old ones first.
Oh man, what a responsibility to
Right.
just think about like what your kid is going to consume from the ground up, right? Like what do you do? Like you will be responsible for what they love.
Well, it better be Ghostbusters and Superman. No, for the Star Wars stuff, right? Like it is that thing. I think we all, and we all, if you're having this conversation with me right now, tend to overthink it. Where it's like, obviously, a kid's attention span is like 2 seconds, so it's not like I'm ever going to sit them down for episode 1 or episode 4 and have their entire enraptured attention. It'll eventually be like, Darth Vader is cool, that lightsaber is cool, and like that's what they go off of, right? Like how you fall into it.
It's gonna be tough though, because it's not like you can spring it on them. By the time that they are aware, and probably, I mean, what is age appropriate for Star Wars for the original trilogy? What, like, I have no idea when kids are allowed to watch stuff. Like
I'm
10,
gonna say 4.
4 for
Yeah.
Star Wars.
That's when you start getting them in. Then they think Yoda's
Right.
funny. Darth Vader says no funny. Like there's a lot of stuff.
So at that
into.
point, they will probably have been inundated with Star Wars imagery anyway.
So
Like,
that's why
I
to
don't-
me the most important thing when it comes to this conversation is it's less about what movies are you going to show them, like, and all this stuff, and like getting them to fall in love with it. It's more about teaching them the right way to consume content, which is release order. Always ingrain that in them when they're young, so when they do get old enough to understand different franchises, they're making their choice what franchise they're going to, but they're consuming it the correct way as God intended, which is release order. You can have all the fun machete stuff, all the chronological, all of this, all that later in life. That's when you earn your own responsibility of understanding storytelling and how things were supposed to be told to people.
Yeah, because if you don't do that, then your kid's gonna grow up and be like, best Star Wars, Bad Batch. And you're gonna be like, have you seen any of the other ones? And the kids will be like, not really.
But
No,
maybe
Bad
that's
Batch
the
in it.
the
I'm
entry
Bad
point to
Batch
get
in it.
them in deeper, right? Like that's the whole
Yeah,
thing.
but
Is
the
like you
pro-
have to
but-
understand like how there's never going to what Tim's point. There's not, whether it's Star Wars or MCU. You're never going to have this clean slate, sit down, we're starting from scratch and building up. It's going to be that they see something in a commercial, they see a new movie promotion, they have a friend who likes whatever that's watching this thing, and then however they start in on the pie, you got to be like, all right, we're eating pie tonight, kid. Doesn't matter if we're starting with the crust or starting with the tip or starting in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I don't know if you can ever have a kid growing up today really appreciate the original trilogy. I think it's just too hard. I think it's going to be too rough. I think they're going to look at it and be like, I don't understand why the lightsabers moving independently of their hands in certain shots, especially now. Your kid's going to grow up in an era where filmmaking is just unbelievably realistic across the board. And so it's like, it's the same with me. Like I went to film school, but even me watching some movies from like 60s and 70s, I'm like, oh God, this is a slog. They're just, they're just not shot the same way. They don't move the same way. They're not edited with the same pacing. And it's difficult.
Well, I mean, that's how fast everything moves, right? Like we're having this conversation today when we were streaming Ghostbusters, the video game, and Tim came in and was talking about it with me, Kevin, and the crew, right? And being like, and I don't mean to put words in your mouth, Tim, but like when you went back to watch Ghostbusters as an adult for your first real time or whatever to sit there and watch it, it was like, oh, this is an 80s comedy, which means it's a lot of talking. Talk. The jokes are all talk. And that's not the kind of comedy you like out of a comedy movie.
Yeah. Well, I think if I remember, I was talking about that. Tim was just like, this is not like the style of humor for Ghostbusters doesn't really exist anymore. It was
well, it's a podcast. It feels like to an extent. It's just like people talking to each other, and something they say might be kind of funny. And that's
it's very subtle. It's a very, very, very subtle, very dry humor. And to the uninitiated, the people who didn't kind of grow up with it, like you'd be like, oh, it's subtle. It's kind of, I don't want to say boring, but it's very simple. As opposed to like now we have movies where, you think of comedies made nowadays, it's a lot of improv, it's a lot of craziness, it's a lot of the energy is just completely different level. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a certain level of like linorama means funny as opposed to like well-written comedy and intended comedy is funny. You know, I feel like that's the difference between the stuff we grew up with and the MCU one-liners that everyone remembers.
Yeah. Yeah, the quippiness of the MCU is so interesting where it's like, comedy, it's kind of like role-playing games in video games where at some point RPG elements were just in every game, but we don't even need to call it out anymore just because skill trees are everywhere. And it's like, that's the same thing for comedy where it's like we have, with the exception of Netflix originals, less and less comedy movies coming out on a year-to-year basis, but that's because action movies are now, and superhero movies really are kind of like just inherently comedic and like the way that we kind of think of that writing and stuff. So that's interesting. Kevin and I were talking about Jungle Cruise, which we're gonna watch tomorrow when it comes out. And Jungle Cruise, one of my favorite rides at Disneyland for the one reason of it's just puns. Like the skipper just does a bunch of dumb dad joke puns and all that stuff. And he was asking like if I'm excited for this because it's one of my favorite rides. And like, I just don't think they're going to go for that type of style of joking, right? Like that vibe of the more pun-based stuff. And it's like, weirdly, The Rock falls into this place where it's physical comedy. Like I guarantee you this movie is going to involve a joke of Emily Blunt making a joke reference to how big The Rock is. That's happened in every movie The Rock has ever been in, and it's going to continue to happen till the end of time. And it's just funny that like it's just like body comedy, but it's just like now that's just the standard expected thing. And like I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just it is.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Have it your way, everybody.
Well,
final question I have is for Jirard here, right? It comes from Jacek. You're talking about things we have to ask every guest since we're on this track.
Okay.
Jacek wants to know, Jirard, what's better, the Lord of the Rings movies or Clerks? And that we're including Mallrats, like the Kevin Smith verse.
The age-old question.
Go with your heart.
Age-old question.
You know the answer.
I think I'm gonna go with like what I grew up with and where I feel the most comfortable in talking about and just relating to. I got to go with Clerks. I gotta go.
Yeah, you do.
With
yeah,
Clerks.
you do. Yeah, you do. Look at you. Look at you. You're
Yeah,
a
I
winner
do.
today. You're a winner today.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not just because the
it.
entire middle movie for Lord of the Rings did need to happen. It's not because of that. It's not because that Lord of the Rings really is
It's the best fight though.
It's just a sequel with another movie just shoved in there for no reason, so they could have someone ride a horse down a little bridge sidewalk. It's because Kevin Smith movies appeal to you on a heart level, and we're excited. Are we all excited about Clerks 3 coming out?
Everyone, please don't let Andy know that this happened. The one episode he's not here. It's just here we are.
Would he be furious with me right now, yelling and screaming?
He's delusional, and he's also not here to defend himself. So he actually likes Clerks more as well.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
Yeah, he just says Lord of the Rings
by default.
He devil's advocates it. You know what I mean? Where he doesn't really like Lord of the Rings that much. He definitely likes the Clerks movies better, but he has to feel like
I think I was that kid that I didn't read the books. I didn't have anyone in my family who was obsessed with the anthology of what Lord of the And I always loved Kevin Smith movies. They're like one of my favorites. And so I was at that age where everyone, man, Lord of the Rings is so good. Am I right? And I was like, yeah, I guess it's all right. It's a good film. They're good movies. I'm not like, oh, I have to buy the shirt, buy the poster, buy the games, play the MMO for an hour before it goes away. Like that's not like, you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jirard, for making the right answer there. And thank you, of course, for coming to hang out on today's Kind of Funny podcast. Jirard, where can everybody keep up with you?
Oh man, thanks for having me, guys. You can find me over at youtube.com/thatonevideogamer for my show, The Completionist. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/thecompletionist. You can follow me on Twitter at @completionist, Instagram at The Completionist, or if you're tired of hearing my name and you want to see me and my new friends over at G4, everything G4, twitch.tv/G4, youtube.com/ I think it's G4TV actually.
Yeah,
I'm bad at this. G4TV, youtube.com/G4TV, twitch.tv/G4TV. That's where I'm at.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been at the Kind of Funny podcast. Remember, each and every week, twice a week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around this table, each coming to bullshit with each other about whatever it is they want to bullshit. If you want to bullshit with us, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunny, where, of course, you can write it with your own topics of discussion, just like South Bay Adam did, just like Grant Burton did, just like Chance Carter did. Of course, over on patreon.com/kindoffunny, you can also get the show ad-free and get the exclusive post show we are about to record. But if you're only watching on youtube.com/kindoffunny or podcast services around the globe, thank you as always for all of your support. Consider patreon.com/kindoffunny. And while we are about to go record some stuff for Patreon people only for you, until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.